In your time of grief, let Victoria Cross Funerals take care of the details, so you can focus on what truly matters. Victoria Cross Funerals offer personal, compassionate support after losing a loved one, providing you with a funeral support manager dedicated to serving you and your family. Visit victoriacrossfunerals.com.au for care when it matters the most. Victoria Cross Funerals, proud sponsors of the Ouzo Talk podcast. There's no Ouzo Talk without a bottle of Ouzo, which is why we love the Greek Providor. Get a real taste of the very best produce that Greece has to offer. From olive oils and delicious artisan sweets, to unique spirits, earthy herbs and memorable wines. Visit thegreekprovidor.com.au to see their amazing range. The Greek Providor, proud sponsors of the Ouzo Talk podcast.
Sound is.
Welcome back, Nick Athanasiou, another episode of Ouzo Talk. Mate, we have another returning guest today, don't we?
We do, mate. And what a legend this guy is. We actually, would you say we worked together at the Greek Festival recently?
I don't know if I'd say we'd work together because that would imply that we're comedians or anywhere near as good as that.
Not.
We accompanied him, let's say. We were, what were we? We played second fiddle on stage.
Well, his bitches, maybe? Yeah.
Possibly. That's probably more accurate, really, because let's be honest. He was a fucking force of nature at the Greek Festival of Sydney at Darling Harbour. Mate, the crowd work, the level of crowd work, the quick-wittedness, it was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And he gave me the nickname of Game Show Master or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Actually, you did a really good job of that.
Mate, I don't know what I was saying. I hope the answers were right, but...
Well, either way, people walked away happy. There was some really funny encounters. Like I can still remember Tasho in the front row wearing all the the Sydney Olympic stuff.
Exactly. Look, I've got to do a quick shout out to our mate. So afterwards, we had a drink at the bar. Remember the bar we went to with the barrels?
How can I forget,
mate? And our old bloke come up. Over 80 years old, big moustache, having a beer.
A twisted moustache, let's point out.
Looked like he just come straight from the mountains of Epiro with his...
It's because he had.
With his bastuni. Napoleon Garzonis. Mate,
Wow.
I think he's from Arta, legend. Mustaka, I think they were calling him.
Mate, that is a strong name. Napoleon.
Napoleon.
Love it.
Solid name. So, Yassos from Ouzo Talk.
How good's that?
There they are. Good to see you guys and good to meet you. Good stories as well. I had some great stories.
Yeah. Well, look, we're going to talk more about the Greek Festival and what we experienced at that, but let's stop pretending he's not in the room. Anthony the Rock Locascio, welcome back.
Thank you very much. Boydhes, kavlostone. I wasn't sure if I was like, because I was like waiting. I was like waiting for the intro, and I'm like, wait, hang on, have I missed it? Am I just sitting here quiet for no reason?
You missed the cue. Exit stage
shit,
left.
All right, we're on to the barrel guy already. I was like, shit. I thought,
Classic.
First of all, don't sell yourself short. I could not have done it without you on that day. Genuinely, that was a nightmare. That was
too kind.
That was like, it was a shit show. Much it was a good shit show. It was an extraordinarily well run shit show.
Yeah.
Neo, if you're listening to this, I'm very sorry, but it was.
Nia did a good job.
Everyone
involved did a fantastic
Everybody involved
job.
did a great job. It's just by the very nature of the beast, it's a tornado.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have two people that actually knew we could have gotten anybody up there, but you guys know how to play off, you know how to improvise, you know how to talk. So I thought we were a great team.
Yeah.
We were fantastic.
We think you're being very kind.
Quizmaster Nick. Quizmaster Nick. And then I do remember Tasso, who he was like,
Just didn't stop.
yeah, he
Just trying to take over,
he was a
right?
proper heckler. He was a proper this is actually about me situation. I met that guy at Lambert Park that day. I met
did
him.
you really?
Yeah. He wouldn't let me in. He wouldn't let me. He wouldn't because
joking.
he was taking the tickets at the door, like the MPL security guard.
Oh, wow.
And I went up to him. I was like, "Look,
is a
man, I'm with SBS Sport. Can I get in?"
A likely
And
story, he says.
And he was like, "Prove it." And I'm like,
At this point, you're like, don't you know who I am?
No, not at all. I didn't say that. Crucially to the story, I did not say that.
Hang on. Did we give him a prize?
Say again?
Did we give him a prize in the end?
Fuck no. We said we were going to give him a prize, and then we honey-dicked him. We said, no, you're not getting the prize. You're too obnoxious. Fuck
He
you.
didn't out of principle.
Yeah.
Seriously, he was leading him on for like 15 minutes.
I was not happy. But granted, he did give me time to think. He gave me stalling time because he was just going at it in my head. I'm like, oh, what are we going to do next? What are we going to do next?
Yeah.
He was a good foil.
He wouldn't let me in to Lambert Park the day for the
Greek
Legends
game.
And I was like, I'm with SBS Sport. He's like, prove it. I'm like, look, I'm waiting for Claudio. I'm with Claudio. You know Claudio. He's like, oh, I know Claudio, but just when he gets here, you can come in. I was like, you know what? No worries. It's fine with me. If Claude isn't here yet, I'm happy to not go in either.
Yep.
And then I stepped back, and then some other dude was like, do you not know who this is? And that's all you can hope for, right?
You
Because
planted I'm not gonna, that guy.
I didn't plant him. I didn't plant him. I might have slipped him $10 around the corner earlier in case that might happen.
Benindarico?
No, I'm not paying that much. I'm a starving artist, Nick. What are you talking about? Benindarico. I'm gonna think so.
Slide tenor.
I'm also a little dismayed to hear that I'm not the first return guest. I thought I'd be the first return guest.
Mate, that's actually a long line, believe it or not. It's we've had a few now. Cypriot Smurf,
excuse me,
was one. Yeah, with the finger up, of course.
Cypriot Smurf. He doesn't even live here.
I know, but that's why we needed to get him in. I know.
But
when did we have you on
or
last?
a Cypriot Smurf would say, chup chupaji.
Yeah.
Yasu Peter.
Love him.
So what, 2022 I think we had?
Yeah, I think 2022.
Yeah, so it's been 3 years.
My God.
It was, that was great.
And my God, how much have you grown? Because you're going to talk about your show.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
And what have we all been through together since then?
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot.
Well, that's
Brothers
a good
in
way to
arms.
start it all off, isn't it?
It definitely is.
So why don't we have a drink, Nick?
We will, mate. It's time. Let's have a drink.
Stiniamas.
Cheers, boy. This.
Cheers.
Good to
Welcome
see you.
back, Anthony.
Anthony Locascio.
Team Darling Harbour.
That's it.
That's it. Team Darling Harbour.
Team
I like it.
DL.
Well, we have on the menu today, I mean, true to form, we've got plenty of bottles sort of lying around, but we have what is called, it's closer to me, Nick, so
read it out, mate.
I've never actually done this before.
No, you should do it. There's a lot of words in that bottle, so
It's a 35N, unsurprising. I mean, we're a walking billboard for 35N at this point. And again, I point out, we are not sponsored by 35N. The good people at the Greek Providor are our sponsors who bring this awesome stuff in. This is 35N, finest artisanal tsikoudia, rather. Grape Mark Spirit, Malvasia de Candia Aromática.
beautiful.
You like that?
You said that well.
Oh, yeah.
I once went on a date with somebody called Tsikoudia.
Yeah.
Really? That's not a yortasimo normal. But the yortasimo.
Very good, yeah.
Classic.
But this is good stuff. This is the one with the purple 35 on the front.
Yeah. So Greek Providor, they got about 4 versions of 35N Cipidor. This is another one. Mate, quality stuff. But also, quick shout out to there's a place actually. Greek Providor sell this as well. It's called Melavodny Coffee.
Yes.
Quality coffee, premium coffee, because as we know, if Crystal doesn't sell it, then it's not premium. Is that fair to say, Tom?
That is very fair.
Well, I went to an event called Yitonia. Remember the Yitonia boys? So we ended up catching up, and I met the owner that makes this Melavodny coffee. Really good, fucking excellent stuff. And he's from Mytilini. So
Another one.
they don't only make good ouzo, they make good coffee as well. But that's Australian made.
Greek style coffee. Love it.
So thanks for bringing that in. We're definitely going to try that. And big shout out to Dean and Peter, so doing their Yitonia, which is another way of connecting Greeks and businesses. So good bunch of boys from Melbourne. One's a doctor and one's a lawyer. How's
Really?
that for a combo?
Fantastic.
Pretty smart boys, but they had some do one here in Sydney. So George Calambaris was the chef, so fantastic. So keep up the good work, boys. Yitonia. Check out their website, yitonia.com.au.
And Nick, look, having lost someone recently, as I've said previously, organising the funeral and organising all of the arrangements and whatnot and all the palaver that goes with, the death of a loved one, it's so much work and it's so stressful. But Victoria Cross Funerals, who have come on board recently to support us, they're the experts in that field, and we're so glad to have them on board, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely, Tom. Look, they're great people over at Victoria Cross Funerals. As you know, they do burial services, but they also do cremation services and repatriation as well. So
That's a big one, isn't it?
It is. It's so common now. People travel so frequently, and you never know when you might need a repatriation of a loved one.
And not just that, being able to say, maybe the wishes of your loved one was, they passed away in Australia and they wanted to be buried in Greece. That is one of the huge advantages of using the expertise of Victoria Cross Funerals. I've heard so many stories about Greeks wanting to be buried back where they were born, or, in the village where their family is from. It's understandable. And, in the... for most people of our generation, we want to honour those wishes. If you're in that position, make sure you reach out to victoriacrossfunerals.com.au.
Yeah, definitely, Tom. Well said. Reach out to Victoria, Nicole, and they also got a 5-star rating on Google Reviews as well, which is saying something.
Always a plus. Thank you very much, guys. victoriacrossfunerals.com.au. There you go. So everyone is getting together around this podcast, in and around the podcast, because, look at the connections there. Now, Anthony...
Mate, you summed it up. We are connecting Greeks,
What a steep drop off the cliff.
I didn't want to say it, but...
The guy from the Yitonya. We're going from Yitonya to just some guy that we picked up off on the street.
Some bloke from botany.
Some bloke from botany, yeah. Classic. We walked here 6
Some
minutes.
battler.
But it's all about connecting Greeks. And I think you mentioned when you're on the episode 3 years ago, people did hear us and they went to your show, and you commented that you said some people heard you on the show and they ended up going to your show.
I have told you that personally, but I wasn't able to tell you that on the podcast because it obviously hadn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But
Back then,
yes. But I have told you guys, I've had people literally last year when I did the Adelaide Fringe Festival, people came up to me after my show and said, I heard you on Ouzo Talk. And I was on Ouzo Talk 2 years ago. Like, we heard you and we liked you and we came to the show. And I was like, well, I was here last year. What happened? But no,
what can I say except you're welcome?
All right. The dads are on the town today.
Okay. Tell me, what's that? I don't get it.
He's kids too old. They've seen Moana.
That's it. No. You don't like Moana? Come on, man.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, Disney.
Yeah. Fuck, not my
It's The Rock. It's The Rock.
Oh, really?
The Rock sings that song.
That's why I'm referencing it, because he's The Rock.
Okay.
Intertextuality from Tom.
I'm glad you guys are connected.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Good job, boys.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, it's really cool. The reach that you guys have is awesome. I'm proud of you guys.
Oh,
you know
thank
what I
you,
mean?
mate. We love it when people blow smoke up our ass.
I'm going to be doing that a bit today, but I promise to cut you back down at some point.
Yeah, we need it.
By the end of it.
Yeah. By the end of it, we're all going to be equilibrium. We're going to be here.
The sick with the ass going to kick in, and it's like, you're a fuckwit.
That, or we're just going to hug it out. I love you, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where do we start, though? Because so much has happened since Anthony's been in the room with us. The key thing, though, is that you've been to the US in the last year.
Yeah, I wouldn't know if that's the key. That's a nice thing. That's definitely a nice thing. I did.
So that's not the highlight.
Well, maybe
wouldn't
we should
say
ask
so.
you.
Wow.
What have you been up to?
Well, my entire life currently is predicated on preparing a wedding. So that's what I've been up to.
Okay.
Whether it's actually doing wedding prep or just doing prostituting my skill set in any way that I can to make a little bit of money to just add to the wedding fund for a bit of safety. Yeah. I think I've told you guys both personally that I shouldn't say this.
He just reminded me of Ricky Gervais before he told that the minge joke on the Golden Globes.
All right, look. This is going to cost me work and possibly friends, but I hate emceeing weddings. I hate it.
But you're good at it.
It sucks. I'm all right at it. If it's people I don't know, I'm good at it. If it's people I do know, I've done 3 weddings of two close friends and 1 cousin, and I fucked something up during the bridal entrances every single time to varying degrees of severity, but I've fucked up big time 3 different times.
Did you get the wrong name?
Wrong name would be fine, Nick.
Oh,
wrong name would be easy. So
hang on. Did you get hang on. If you're mates with the groom and you get the bride's name wrong, then you fucked it.
Sure.
You didn't mention his ex-girlfriend's name.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say.
We're not that far, but okay. So
somewhere in the middle.
The first one, I was groomsman / MC, and I was absolutely off my head by the time we did it. And I had the running order, even though I know these are all my friends. I had the running order for the bridal party. I know them. These are all my friends. It's fine. I folded the page, and I folded the page on the best man and the maid of honor. When I'm looking at the running order, I look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, flower girls, whatever, and then I turn the page and it says bride and groom because the fold was on the best man and the maid of honor. Now the bride and groom had this entrance package. Like I said something that triggered and all the lights go down and the big screen goes on and the Avicii song comes on.
Yeah.
And so I flipped the page, missed the bride, the maid of honor and the best man.
Wow.
And I've summoned the entrance package, right? The whole thing. And it's happening and the dad of the groom runs up to me and goes, you forgot the best man, you forgot the maid of honor. And so I stopped it. I went and grabbed the mic. I stopped it. I was like, guys, this is why you don't have MC/groomsman. I'm off my face. Sorry, I made a mistake. Everyone laughed. It was fine.
Wow.
That was fine.
So you had to reverse the smoke machine, put the balloons back in. No.
Yeah.
All the doves needed to be recalled.
Yeah. The Undertaker had to put his hat back on. It was difficult. And then at my cousin's one, I fucked the order up. So the flower girls came in instead of the parents, and it was fine because everybody blamed the DJ because the songs were wrong. And everyone was like, hey, this fucking DJ is terrible. Fucking got the songs wrong. And I was like, yeah, man, you can't pay for good help these days. And then the third one's
Flat bat.
The third one's a really long story, so I won't tell it now. But you get the gist. The gist is that I don't like doing it for people I know.
Yeah.
But for people that I don't know, I'll do it and I'll have fun. But it's just like it's long and it's very formal and you know I like to improvise. I like to have fun. I like to swear. I like to say inappropriate things. You got no
weddings
scope
are not fun. Let's be honest. If you're working them, and I've worked a lot of them, you know, on the music side and MCing side, it's not fun. It's not where you want to be. To your point, it's just a long fucking day.
And look, you can counterbalance it by saying you're part of a very happy occasion and it's lovely to contribute your skill set to that. That's great. That's the only positive.
So, if you would like Anthony to MC your wedding, hit him up on Instagram.
Please email georgecapanaris@gmail.com.
Yes, what a George.
Actually, people that don't know Anthony, ring in. Is that the deal? You can let them know them.
If you know Anthony, don't get in contact because he doesn't want to do it.
If you don't know Anthony, then get in contact with him.
Yes, exactly. If you're a
As
friend
in personally.
of mine. Yeah, personally. I've already said no. Nick's asked me for his second wedding. I said no, thank you.
I would love to see
we're
that,
too
actually.
close.
If you get married again, get this guy and Capanaris together.
No, sorry, mate. That's one. Done it once.
Twice can be arranged, as they say.
No way. You only ever do it once. Normal people do it once.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I shouldn't say that. I'll take that back. Anyone's got married twice. But
Well, I married Dimitra twice.
Did you?
Yeah. Once in a
but
church.
it's the same
once
girl.
Yeah,
it's the same.
My
But
parents are
it's two
both
weddings.
married twice, but neither of them are normal people. So your statement is still correct.
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay.
So that's all my energy at the moment is going into my wedding.
Yeah.
But it has
Fantastic.
been a whirlwind year and a half leading up to it. So I'm actually glad for the break.
Before you move on,
Yeah.
who's emceeing your wedding? Or is that a secret?
We haven't chosen yet. Well, we've got a few options, but because the wedding's in Malaysia, and I told you guys that, it's all going to depend on who's able to travel. Because, so we've got a few options.
Yeah.
And
So some little Malaysian dude is going to MC more than likely.
a friend of mine who's actually like the second biggest comedian in Malaysia.
Really?
He's huge. Yeah, he's got 2 Netflix specials. He's a mate of mine because
Holy shit.
he comes and he does all of the.
Wow.
His name's
Okay.
Dr. Jason Leong. He does the Melbourne Comedy Festival every year. He's a cool guy.
Doctor?
He is a doctor. He was a medical doctor.
Wow.
And he worked as a doctor for a few years, and then he became a comedian and full time. But he still has Dr. Jason Leong in his
Fantastic.
in his thing. He's going to be around. I don't necessarily. I want him to be a guest. I don't want him to be working.
Fair enough.
And also, as much as he's a friend of mine, he doesn't know us super well. He doesn't really know any of our families that well. So I don't know if he's the right candidate, but he is a candidate, and he would be cool.
So you want a local, someone to come with you?
No, yeah, I want one of the boys.
Yeah.
I want one of these guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, soon to be. So what do you got? Top 3? And you got
I've got top 3. Yeah,
top 3.
Top 3.
Okay.
So if Angelo Tsaruha was in Malaysia at the time, you'd be hitting him up. What do you reckon?
Think about it. That's my second Theo Ange.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look at his schedule. You know. See
Ange
where he is.
Postecoglou being the first.
Of course. Come on. Unfortunately, Tsarukas has never set an offside trap. So I I can't make him number one, Theo Ange.
Yeah, fair enough.
I've got a funny story about Tsaroukas, actually. I think it's funny. We'll cut it out if it's not funny. We'll cut it out if it's not funny. All right. So I was in Toronto a couple of months ago, and I was brought out by a comedian / promoter in Canada called Evangelia Alexopoulos, who's awesome. She's she's the whole reason why I ended up going to North America, because she contacted me a year ago and said, "We think you're great. We want to bring you out."
Wow.
And they looked after me so well. They took me from Montreal to Ottawa to Toronto, and then on the last night before I left, I went to hang out with Evangelia she was just staying at a random comedian's house. Now, Evangelia opens for Tsaroukas all across Canada.
Yep.
Like she owes everything to him, is what she says. So they're really close. I know Ange from the times that he's come to Australia. We've hung out, we've spoken. And so we're sitting in this apartment of this third comedian who's gone on tour to, I don't know, Saskatchewan or something. And weed in Canada is not only legal, but like legal in every sense, like Big W Kmart weed shop. It's
Really?
not like in America, it's kind of still a little bit cloak and dagger depending on what state you go to. In Canada, like I had weed beef jerky. You go into the place and it's like the candy store. And what that means is the shit that you get there is powerful.
Okay. And it's legal.
Totally 100%
It's
legal.
like Amsterdam.
So it's not legal in Amsterdam. Marijuana is not legal in the Netherlands. They have what's called a non-enforcement policy, which is what they have in New York.
You seem to know a lot about this, Anthony.
This is just speaking from a friend.
He travels a lot.
But in Canada, 100% the magasin is right there, right? So you just go in and you pick whatever you want. Like Montreal, because Montreal they don't do edibles. They're too cool for edibles. And Montreal's is. Have you guys ever been to Montreal?
No.
Absolutely magnificent. One of the best places I've been to in my life.
Wow.
But it's hyper French, like obviously.
Yeah.
People say Melbourne is like a European city in Australia. No.
Yeah.
Montreal is 100% a European city.
Kidding.
And so because they smoke analog, the whole city smells like dank. Everywhere you go, it's just.
Hang on. Smoke analog.
They don't vape and they don't. And
Okay,
they don't,
is that the term?
some people say that. They smoke analog.
It's a normal
Smoke
cigarette.
analog. I
Instead
like
of
that.
digital,
Yeah.
they smoke analog.
I like that.
So anyway, we're in Toronto and I'm with Eva and we're in this random comedian's apartment and we're pretty chuffed. And so and we're just talking and then we hear footsteps coming up the stairs and somebody's put a key in the door, open the door, come in. This 40 to 50-year-old Asian man. And we're like, well, who are you? And thankfully, in the moment of shock, we realized that he was also a comedian and that the comedian who owned the place had double booked to sleep over Eva and this guy.
Aha.
So we're okay. We're all cool and we're trying to figure out like who's going to stay where. And the three of us are just having a chat. I kind of recognize this dude. And it turns out this guy's name is Ron Josol. He's a comedian. He's a Filipino comedian and he tours Australia all the time. I've worked with him before.
Right.
Of all the places for him to just randomly turn up,
Of all the gin joints.
of all the gin joints in all the Torontos and all the weed-infested fucking countries, he had to walk into mine. And so we're just talking. I'm like, I know you, bro. We've worked together. Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You're a comic, this, and this. But he doesn't live in Australia. He lives in LA.
Oh.
He lives in LA in Angelo Tsaroukas' granny flat.
You're
He
joking.
lives in the backyard. He comes in. Tsaroukas' wife makes dinner. He eats with the kid, goes back to the granny flat, and then does his tour worldwide.
Wow.
So we are three random comedians from totally different parts of the world that have randomly congregated in this apartment in Toronto who all have links to Angelo Tsaroukas totally randomly on my last night in Toronto.
That is brilliant.
Fantastic.
I sent him a selfie. I was like, Theo Ange, look at this.
How's that for a connection?
It was cool.
fantastic.
It was cool.
Mate,
Far
he's the
out.
best. Wow, what a story. Oh, we'll probably get to that. So was this the first time you travelled overseas to do work?
No.
Okay,
No.
it
So the first time I went to Malaysia, late 2023.
Okay.
I did some gigs there. I did some gigs in Kuala Lumpur.
Yep.
Awesome. So then Eva reached out to me and said, we want to bring you to Canada. And in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to do a solo show overseas. Who the fuck am I? What are you talking about? But she was insistent. So she was like, we'll bring you to the 3 Canadian cities. We'll do it. It'll be fun. And then that kind of got me feeling myself and thinking, oh, maybe I might be able to do this.
Yeah.
We went to Europe last year. It was my mum's 60th. We went to celebrate that.
Beautiful.
And on the way, I thought, well, I'm doing Canada. I'm going to do a show in London. So I did Pappou, the show that I toured last year. I did it in London. Amazing.
Wow.
200 people. Probably the best show, the second best show of the entire run. It was the London show. It was amazing.
Really?
It was absolutely amazing.
I get the impression as an outsider that London and the UK in general is a town for comedy.
You better believe it, Tom.
Yeah.
You better believe, and also North America. But we can get onto that in a little bit. But
But it is different from here, right?
100%. There's and I don't mean to cast aspersions on Australian audiences and Australian people. The reality just is that comedy as a night out is nowhere near as culturally ingrained here as it is in the UK and the US and Canada. Like, they just go. People go once a week to comedy. People see many, many different people across many, many different nights. So they just kind of know instinctively the rhythm of comedy, the cadences. They know how to be a comedy audience. Sometimes in Australia, you got to do a little bit of legwork to be like, come on, guys, this is what it is. You're not at barefoot bowls. You're not at the footy. You play your part, I'll play my part.
Yeah.
In London, no issues at all because it's the same thing.
They get the assignment there.
They get the assignment, 100%. And so, buoyed by that, I did New Zealand in November. First time I've been to New Zealand.
Wow. Wellington?
Yep. Wellington, the what were they called? The Odysseus Brotherhood brought me out because when in doubt, you contact the Greek community and they'll give me a hand.
Yeah.
Usually the hand is worth it. The Odysseus community, the Brotherhood, were wonderful. They were great. I had an opener who did half an hour, who'd done comedy one time before. His name was Big someone. Fuck. He's gonna hate me for forgetting his name. He was awesome. He was terrible at comedy, but he was awesome. He was very entertaining. He was so cute. He used to be a wrestler and he had a tryout for WWE.
Wow,
and he reckons
really?
The Undertaker shook his hand. It's the second time I've referenced The Undertaker in this podcast. He said The Undertaker shook his hand and said, if you were younger, we'd sign you.
There's a lot of WWE references in this podcast.
I know. We're gonna sneak a few more in.
We'll see.
Easter eggs for the listeners.
That's it. There'll be a prize at the end if you can find all of them. It's on the bingo card.
The Wellington show was amazing. The Wellington show, there was I think I had 150 people come out to the Wellington show.
Fantastic.
And then I went to Auckland for a week and I did spots at their biggest comedy club all throughout the week. That was great. My solo show, I did Pappou there as well.
Yeah.
And there were about 35 people in and it was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite the Wellington vibe, but I just had a terrific time in New Zealand.
Yep.
It's just very cool to be able to go to countries that you've never been to before for work, for your dream. It's amazing.
Really. And your show, Pappou, me and Tom went and saw it. Fantastic. We couldn't stop raving about it, but
It's true.
It is, mate. We basically said you've gone to the next level. You are that sort of A-class comedian. It was sold out, wasn't it?
Oh, that's really nice, guys. Thank you.
We stood up.
Thank you.
I think you had a standing ovation.
Standing
People
up.
around me were standing up.
Well, most people stood up. A few people were sitting down. I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to take a mental screenshot of who you are.
But see, you stacked the deck on that one, though, because you brought your Pappou out. That was always going to get a standing
You
O.
better believe it. You better. I actually, hang on, Tom. You know
That was
what?
after, though.
You know what? I'm not going to smoke up my own ass, but I did get the standing O before I
did.
brought Pappou out. Okay?
You did, let's be
honest. And if anybody wants to verify that, the special for Pappou is coming out.
YouTube.com.
Catch me on YouTube, guys. Pappou
Awesome.
at Enmore Theatre. You might see these two heads in the show.
crowd.
It was that. I mean, as I referenced before, the London show was amazing, but that's like.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you guys are both Sydney born and bred like me. You know what the meaning of Enmore Theatre is, and for a
Let's put it in perspective, right? Because we went to see Angelo Zaduka when he came here. We've been to a few comedy shows, big ones as well. You know, your Seinfelds and all that sort of thing. I'm not going to compare you to Seinfeld. It's not fair. But what Nick said earlier is right. At the end of that show, we were just looking at each other going, fuck me. He has gone to the next level. Like, this is... I mean, we'll get fucking... we'll cop shit for it from some people for sure, but that was Netflix quality special at that point. And we were just saying, how well did he tie it all together?
Yeah.
How well did he bring it all back? It was just brilliant, honestly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
And we messaged you afterwards saying, fuck, like we said as much
Well, we
at the
had
time.
a brief at the restaurant and we're on the same page. Like when we had you in 22, I thought, yeah, look young. You did a couple of shows here, local clubs.
We were sitting in different areas too. We had the same thought. We weren't even sitting together.
Oh, you weren't together? Yeah, you were with
Billy Kotzes.
Billy Kotzes.
Yeah. Oh, man, Kotzes.
We paid for our tickets.
So bad.
No, I actually went with a group of 10.
Yeah.
Group of 10.
That's my man. How many did you bring, huh?
Actually, Billy paid for his ticket too.
No,
So
he didn't.
He did.
He paid for his ticket
Yeah,
even though I comped him.
He didn't use it. He reckons he had to pay his mate. His mate bought 2 tickets for him and Billy, the Portuguese guy.
Oh,
The guy that you singled out.
Yeah.
His
You
show.
have to find the Portuguese guy. No spoilers,
But it was a fantastic show. And then
thank you,
look,
guys.
when
Thank you.
Pappou came out, look, everyone got emotional. I was just getting goosebumps now talking.
My wife
about it.
cried. She genuinely did. She was crying when he came out.
Yeah,
And I felt the same.
It was it was in my head to do that for him, because I said it on the night and I've said it a few times, but he's just got this stupid voice in his head that tells him that he didn't accomplish anything in life, that his dreams fell apart, and that he just kind of like I think the overall point of the show that I wanted to instill in people is that the ultimate gift of the immigrant generation is they may have had to sacrifice their dreams, but the idea was that their dreams died so that our dreams could live. That's the point. And what a better, that's a legacy if there is any.
100%.
Right? So
I'm getting goosebumps again.
as much as I would have loved to be able to say, yeah, Pappou was the goalkeeper for the Socceroos for generation after generation, and I could never live up to what he did. As much as I would absolutely love to say that, what he did was even better. He was an amazing father and an amazing grandfather. So
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
In your time of grief, let Victoria Cross Funerals take care of the details so you can focus on what truly matters. Victoria Cross Funerals offer personal, compassionate support after losing a loved one, providing you with a funeral support manager dedicated to serving you and your family. Visit victoriacrossfunerals.com.au for care when it matters the most. Victoria Cross Funerals, proud sponsors of the Ouzo Talk podcast.
There's no Ouzo Talk without a bottle of Ouzo, which is why we love the Greek Providor. Get a real taste of the very best produce that Greece has to offer. From olive oils and delicious artisan sweets to unique spirits, earthy herbs and memorable wines. Visit thegreekprovidor.com.au to see their amazing range. The Greek Providor, proud sponsors of the Ouzo Talk podcast.
So I wanted to honor him in that way. I never thought that I did Melbourne Comedy Festival last year. I did this show. Melbourne Comedy Festival, I'm sure I've spoken to you guys about it just socially, but it's a grind, man. They make you do 30 shows. They make you do a show every single night for the whole month.
Really?
And so I did the show to 3 people last year one time.
Oh, right.
And one, there was 2 people for 45 minutes, and then one woman walked in late and was like, have I missed anything over the last 15? I'm like, no, you'll catch on.
Is this your whole Pappou show?
The whole thing, the whole hour.
45 minutes, an
yeah,
hour.
Yeah, the whole hour. 3 people. And, I've done hours to very few people before. It's just a skill that you have to learn.
At that point, are you sitting down next to them and giving
There's
the show?
been times when that's happened. But for the most part, no, I sold well last year. You call a show Pappou, you're going to get a lot of illness in, especially in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And there was a night where I invited George Capañaris to come.
Not war there, I think.
No.
another night.
In Melbourne, I mean. I
Melbourne,
told George
sorry,
to come in Melbourne, and he watched the show.
Yep.
And we went and had dinner afterwards at Stalactites.
Yep.
And he said to me, "Where are you going to have dinner?" He said to me, "You should do that show at Enmore." And I the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. I did 3 people yesterday. What are you talking about?
And just for context, Enmore fits, 1,600 people?
1,600 people.
Yeah.
So he put the idea in my head, and I thought, look, why not give it a crack? I pulled every string that I could to get people there, partnering up with Greek Festival of Sydney, first of all, were amazing. the genesis of our working together earlier this year. I agreed to MC their Darling Harbour thing as the least that I could do for what they did for me. They put my trailer in the Greek Film Festival, like for every movie, they had it there, like that, and for nothing. You know, they just did it because they wanted to support, a young artist. So they helped me out a lot. Cougar, the university, just so many different people. I just asked for support, and people came through because Greeks support Greeks.
Yep, 100%. And again, the thing with the festival is that so much of what that festival is about giving opportunities to young artists, not just comedians, also the dancers. How many fucking dancers did we see that day? Dancing groups,
heaps.
You know, and again, when I spoke to Nia, because I interviewed her for something else. And she was saying 10 years ago, we didn't think this was going to survive. Now, you don't know where it's going to end. You're like, there's so many Greeks out there. There are so many people getting involved in either Greek dancing or, in the music or whatever it is. It's such a great vehicle to be able to get a start, isn't it?
Yeah. She very much framed it to me as we'll help you out. You help us out by trying to bring the youth to the thing. It was heavily slanted in them helping me out, but whatever. That's fine. And then we came up obviously with the idea to do the youth gala, which you guys both came to, which is just such a cool thing. I'm quite sure we're going to do it again next year. Yep. We're going to do it a bit more my way next year because I didn't have too much say in venue, which was a bit of an issue. But I think in terms of philosophy and execution, that's what we want, right? Because
let's talk about that.
That was
please. That was a great night. We had a great night that night. But the most interesting thing that came out of that night, aside from the fact that, it was a comedy night and, we saw some up and coming talent, I've never seen an audience so split afterwards in terms of their thoughts on it. And not necessarily bad or whatever. Everyone took something very different away from it. There was some really confronting stuff for a lot of that audience as well. But I've never seen an audience split like that after the fact.
Well, here's kind of the reason for that, right? What I wanted to do, we should tell the listeners what it was.
Set it up.
I emceed and kind of chose, I think it was like 8 of us, Australian comedians of Greek descent.
Yep. Carissa
Bossanakis, Chris Demos, Stella Kapos, Karina Gouros, Mariah Nicholas, who I didn't have on until I randomly saw her the week before and thought, you're amazing, please come. Who actually ended up coming runner-up in the National Raw competition a few weeks ago.
She was really good, actually.
Fantastic.
Oh, by the way, so Raw Comedy, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's like the national open mic competition that we all do in our first 2 years of comedy. And the final is at the Melbourne Town Hall. It's filmed, it's put on SBS. And basically, if you win or you come runner-up or you impress the right people at the right time, it can be a real little boost for your career. I was in the New South Wales state final 2 years in a row, but I didn't make the national final. This year, in the national final, the winner and both runner-ups were Greek.
Wow. Who won it?
A guy called Peter Josip. He's half Greek, half Italian.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Hey, boom, boom.
Yeah, I did it first.
So he's your direct competition now, right?
I wouldn't say that. But,
He looked up to you, did he?
He's a cool dude. He's a really nice kid. All of them are.
So we'll see you next year, will we?
Yeah, I hope so. So. You know what?
It's a great idea.
Absolutely to get him next year. And then we of course had Eloise Eftos headlining. Yes. And the without going into too much into what Eloise does, because Eloise is amazing.
Just get into it. It's all right.
I mean, her shtick is basically that she's too hot to do comedy, and she's just got a superiority thing on stage, and it can be very off-putting to people, but it's also
but it's funny. It's a comedy
it's
show.
Very funny. That was the closest thing to an actual comedy show that I think a lot of people that went to that show would have experienced, because when you go to see and again, please, I'm not putting shade on anybody when I say this, but when you do go and see when you go and see Effie, or when you go and see the latest Nick Giannopoulos stage show, or you go and see the WOG show that has Avadi and Kapiniaris or whatever, it's sort of everything's on brand. You know, you have audiences leaving, as you were saying, Tom. You have audiences leaving with basically the same impression because this is a comedy show about, or this is a comedy show that is one person. But when you go to a normal comedy night, when you go to the Comedy Store, you go to clubs in New York or whatever, you're getting that thing where there were 7 people and they all made me feel totally different. And I fucking hated that person and I loved that person and that person was weird and that person made me feel this. And there's nobody in the audience that is feeling the exact same way about the entire show.
Done.
That's what I wanted to do. And not only was that part of the thinking, but this is important. What I have always wanted to do is find the meeting point between representing the Greek and Italian communities of Australia, which I do inherently. I have both of my cultures deeply ingrained in my identity. Whether I can help it or not, I'm a wog.
Yep.
But I also represent, like, I'm a stand-up comedian first and foremost. I worship it. I study it. I love it. I love all forms of it, and I want to be a really, really good stand-up comedian that also represents these things, and not necessarily has to talk about just that, like just my ethnicity all the time.
Yeah,
I'm not the Greek Italian guy that you go to just hear Greek Italian jokes. I'm the guy you go to hear the jokes, but you know is Greek and Italian.
Yeah.
And all the people that you guys saw that night, correct me if I'm wrong, but their ethnicity was mentioned very, very seldom.
This is what I wanted to say, because to your point about it being like the closest thing to a proper comedy night, 100% correct. And the reason why I enjoyed it is because, aside from the fact that it got people talking, genuinely talking about something that the Greek festival was doing outside of the normal, the normal events that would normally happen. This was something that actually elicited a response. What that response was, to me personally, was of no consequence, because it meant that people were talking about it, and it was not to do with your ethnicity. These kids, let's call them kids, they just happen to be Greek.
Yeah.
This is talent.
You know what? They are kids. I'm pretty sure I was the oldest one there.
Yeah.
On the lineup.
Yeah, you may have been, actually.
Eloise and I are the same age, and the rest of them are way young.
Yeah, wow.
So yeah, definitely kids. And the part that I think goes without say, but we should mention, is that a lot of these people are unknown or relatively unknown, and I felt it was really cool to give them a platform to showcase themselves, because if these people come back next year to do Sydney Comedy Festival or to do an independent show by themselves, maybe a few of the people that were there, hey, I remember that person, I like that person.
Yep.
You get an extra 10 people at your show. You get an extra 20 people at your show. That's a great thing in and of itself.
Yeah. I think people got to understand, when you go to a comedy show, everything is on the table. You can say whatever you want, and you're not allowed to get offended. That's the deal. This is the only space where you can say anything on there that's open slather.
Well, he even gave the disclaimer before the show.
Yeah,
you're going to hear things that you're going to like.
Yeah.
You're going to hear things that you're not going to like.
Exactly. So I agree with what you said about the venue. So a lot of Greeks were supporting Greeks, but a lot of Greeks don't know what comedy show, like a real comedy show, is all about.
It was a big room.
So this is, those rooms are not ideal for comedy. I've played them many times.
Yeah.
Greek Festival Sydney were quite insistent on doing that room. I'm sure they have a business deal or whatever, and that's totally fine. But next year I'm going to insist on the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Because
Really?
the
It was a
Comedy
nice
Store...
room. Let's be fair. It was a nice room.
It is a nice room.
Beautiful
It is a nice room.
Maybe not right for comedy.
The Comedy Store... Same amount of people that we had in there fit perfectly.
Yeah.
Comedy Store is owned by Century. Century is a sponsor of the Greek Festival of Sydney.
Fantastic. Done.
Finished.
Mate, I've been there plenty of times.
It's the best.
All I remember was when Chris Demos got up and he said his spiel. I looked at this guy.
The greatest thing ever.
I didn't know where to look. It was awkward, but it was funny. I was holding my stomach at one stage. I had tears coming down my eyes. And I looked at Tom, and Tom was like, worse than me. And I think we're worried about the reaction again. I wonder what the Greek community is going to think of this.
The second because let's put it into context.
Yeah.
So Chris gets up.
Yeah.
Chris was great, by the way.
I think he was probably the best one.
He was fucking
in my
funny.
view. I laughed the hardest with him.
And he did the joke about giving the blowjob for, what was it, 28 minutes or whatever it was.
I think I missed that one. I think I was pacing backstage during that one.
And the first thing I did was I started looking around to see who's going to walk out. who's it going to be? Because I knew someone was going to do it.
Yeah. Well, there was a table.
Did someone walk out at that point?
Not at that point, but after the interval, they did.
Yeah, the woman who was screaming at me the whole time left. And then she sent me the yaya that genuinely did not understand what she was watching and thought it was just a one-on-one conversation and I could not get her to shut up no matter what I did. Yeah. They left and I thought, well, great. And then she sent me a DM the next day saying, thank you for a wonderful night. We needed to go because I needed to be up early, but wonderful show. Blah, blah. And I'm like...
Exactly.
Yeah. You raised a really good point though, Nick, before that I think is important to address. And so you said that a lot of the people that were there that night would not have experienced a comedy show like that before. And you're totally right. Yeah. And it's because, rightly or wrongly, a lot of the communities within Australia, the Greek community especially, have been conditioned to, you want to get something, you want to get comedy, you can go to this shop or this shop.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Those shops are good. Those shops have been open since 1989. They're good shops, you know, they got good stuff. But the products that shop is selling, there's new and improved versions of those products.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Without casting aspersions on anybody, the whole WOG 2.0 thing, it's important to talk about this stuff, but at the same time, we need to modernize the vehicle, which is why I have such amazing respect for Sushi Mango, who you guys had on, my friends. I think they are extraordinary and they cop a lot of shit from idiots saying, oh, you know, they're just bastardizing concepts that were done in the 90s or whatever, but they're not. People are focusing on the wrong thing. The content is not the important thing. A story is a good story, and a good story is told throughout generations. We're still doing Shakespeare. We're still talking about, we're still doing Ben-Hur. There's new remakes of whatever being made. Yeah. The Sushi Mango might be telling stories about nonnas and nonnos in the 80s and 90s, but good. I like that. Yeah. I saw a video the other day that they did where one of them was the mum and put the two other ones in the bathtub, and this is how my mum used to wash us when we were kids.
We spoke about it.
You spoke about
on that episode,
and they're just smashing them. I sent it to my cousin immediately because that's exactly how our nonna used to wash us.
Yeah.
Now my nonna's been dead for 15 years.
Yeah.
To be able to see that story retold in a reel on TikTok, this is exactly that's what artistry is. Yeah. They're not reinventing the stories. They don't need to. They're reinventing the vehicle and the craft that we're telling these stories in. These are important. It's important to be able to modernize it so that people like my nonna don't get lost to the sands of time. Yeah. I think that's what they're doing is really important, which is why I think what you guys are doing is really, really important. Yeah. Because a podcast is a very new medium to a lot of people. A podcast is a new medium too. I imagine there's a lot of people that were at the show that we're talking about that are avid listeners of Ouzo Talk. And I imagine that a lot of those people hadn't listened to a podcast at all before your podcast.
Sure.
And I imagine now, having listened to your podcast and figured out the podcast app, and maybe we learn a bit of Spotify, we learn a bit of Apple, whatever, all of a sudden they're broadening their horizons because they're like, oh, what other podcasts are on here?
That's good.
So your ethnicity might be your way in.
It's the vehicle, as you say.
To these vehicles.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important that we might be saying, like I did a show about a man who immigrated from Greece to Italy, from Greece to Australia to become a goalkeeper, which is a kind of niche story, but the story is the same as everybody else's story.
Yeah.
I didn't tell a new story. I told an old story with a bit of gloss on it and a bit of my own personal thing on it. But I'm trying to be a really, really good modern stand-up comedian. And in that, I tried, and you can tell me if I did this correctly or not, but I didn't want the show to be, if you're Greek, you're going to love this. If you're not, you're going to be lost. I wanted it to be, hey, this is an amazing story about a Greek man, and I want everybody here, irrespective of their demographic, to think, fuck, what a cool Greek man.
No, it absolutely stood by itself. Yeah, it really did.
I appreciate that.
And I like the fact that you said it's a comedy. It's not a Greek comedy. It's not an Italian comedy. It's a comedy. That's it. You don't have to label it as Greek and anything else.
It happens to be about a Greek man.
Yeah, exactly.
Case in point, fuck, I had people coming up to me all throughout the tour. What about nonno?
Of course, there's always going to be someone doing that.
What about
next
Nonno?
2026. Do another one.
Oh my God. What about Nonno?
Yeah.
He came to a show called Pappou. What are you asking about Nonno for?
Yeah.
And so I had to put in a joke about my Nonno at the start. I don't know if you guys remember. I put the joke in about Nonno just to sprinkle in. Had nothing to do with anything. It was just like, I've got a Nonno, I've got a Pappou. Here's a joke about Nonno, just so the Italians could be like, all right, he's fine.
There you go.
He can stay.
So how many times did you do that show? I think you told me.
More than 70.
More than 70 times.
Yes. Between all of the Australian festivals, London, New Zealand, 3 times in Canada, 1 time in New York, and then in between coming back from London and going to New Zealand,
Yep.
I went back to all the Australian cities to do at least 1, sometimes 2 encore shows as well. So yeah, it was a lot, and that's how you got to do it. You got to, like, the show from the start. If I showed you a clip from the show that I did at the Factory Theatre, the first trial show, totally unrecognizable show.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But you can
so
see
you
it.
tinker with it, don't you?
You have to.
add a bit more here and there, a bit of oomph here and there.
I had a 20-minute chunk about the yes vote in the original Pappou show. Nobody wanted to hear that.
Oh, dear. Really?
Oh, dear.
Nobody wanted to hear that from this face.
Classic. So what
Can
was
you do it now?
For the patrons. For the patrons.
Classic. So what was it like going to Canada now? So that was the first time you've been in Canada.
Yeah.
You had 3 shows there. How did they, what were the,
Were
they mostly Greeks and Italians out there, or is it a good mix?
It depends city to city. Montreal's got heaps of Greeks.
Yeah.
Heaps in Laval and Montreal in Quebec.
Yeah.
Heaps of Greeks.
Okay.
So we had a lot in Montreal. I was there for a couple of days.
Yep.
City's amazing. Crio.
Yeah.
Like, I had a minus 19 degree day one day.
What?
Minus 19. It was so cold that you get used to it and your body gets used to it. I'm wearing thermals and gloves and beanies and the whole lot.
What month is this?
February.
Okay, fair enough.
Winter.
Yeah.
I'd walk in the cold, like, out, and then I'd walk into a cafe and I'd need to wait 2 minutes for my face to defrost before I could talk.
Wow.
I learned this the first time I went into a cafe, and I tried to speak, and I'm like, and I'm like, all right, fine, you got to wait now. You got to wait for the aircon to hit you properly. Your face defrost a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, can I get a almond matcha, please? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you had a beanie on and a scarf.
The whole shebang.
Didn't help.
Gloves, it did, but not for the face. You can't. There's nothing for the face. There's some people walking around in balaclavas. I don't want to walk around in balaclava.
Minus 19.
Minus 19 on one of the days.
The coldest I've ever experienced is minus 8 in Thessaloniki watching a PAOK game.
Yep.
And I fucking froze.
Yeah, you want to kill yourself. Yeah, it's bad.
Minus
Prior to Canada, the coldest I'd ever experienced was minus 6 in London one time.
Yeah.
And I properly was like, I'm going to jump in the road.
Yeah.
In Canada, though, I don't know if it's because I'm older. I don't know what it is, but I got used to it real quickly, and I ended up loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Ottawa, we were there very quickly. It was one in, one out.
One show.
And then Toronto.
That would have rocked.
So I got a bit of fam in Toronto that I met them.
Really?
My
Shit.
Pappou's,
So
my
have I.
yaya's cousin and his whole family are in Toronto. I did one of their main comedy clubs there. We had sold out with days to spare.
Wow.
And I'm going into it like, what the I've never been to this city before.
Yeah.
That was one of the best shows of the whole run, Toronto. It was sick.
Because they've got a Greek town there, haven't they?
They do have a Greek town, the Danforth, which is where this comedy club happened to be.
That's where Tsaruka watched the Euro 2004, all those games.
In the Danforth.
Danforth Avenue, when he was sleeping with the Portuguese girl.
Yeah, that's right.
That's how he remembers. That's how he clocks his, it was the Portuguese girl. No, that was the Armenian one.
But that's how we know it as well.
Classic.
And I was going into it. The Montreal show was first, and I'm panicking like, they're not going to understand my accent. My jokes are not going to be funny because these people actually know about comedy, and I'm a fraud. So these people, like, this isn't going to be good. I was panicking.
Wow.
As soon as I started, I knew this is going to be easy.
Yeah.
They just know comedy. They just have instinctively, they just like, oh, this is the setup. He's going to pause. No one yell out during the pause. Punchline. Ha ha ha.
Wow.
Easy.
Fantastic.
Now I wasn't supposed to go to New York. The Canada thing was booked for a year.
Yep.
And then when I spoke to Vagilia and we actually did the scheduling, it was Wednesday Montreal, Thursday Ottawa, Friday Toronto. I flew in on the Monday. And I thought, what am I going to be? I'm going to go to Canada for the first time and I go for 4 days and then come home. That doesn't seem worth it. So I booked a one-way flight.
Yep.
And then I thought, what do? Do I go to Niagara Falls? Do I go on a little excursion by myself throughout Canada? I'm talking to my dad, and my dad said, why don't you go visit our cousins in New York? I want to do a show in New York.
Yeah.
So, all right, fine.
And how did you organise a show like that?
Reach out to a bunch of comedy clubs.
Yep.
And I said, I'm this person. I've done these things. I'm looking for a place to host my solo show in New York. And then someone bit. And so we just went for it. I did Rodney's Comedy Club, which used to be called Dangerfields.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to say
which is a pretty.
That is a good club.
Pretty good club.
And how many? What's the capacity of that?
I think it's 130. Didn't sell out, but there was a lot of people in there. I was very grateful for that. And then I got one gig. I did Gotham Comedy Club, and I'll tell you about that now. So I did my show. My show went great. Very happy with it. And the next night I went to the Comedy Cellar to watch. The Comedy Cellar is the best comedy club in the world, bar none. I go in there, the level, like it's the Champions League final.
Yeah.
It's
really
every single comic. Like there's nobody in Australia that comes close.
So if that's the Champions League, where do you put yourself?
Well, hold on, right? So I'm watching this and I knew that I had Gotham the next night.
Yep.
And I thought, well, thankfully Gotham is like if Comedy Cellar is number one, Gotham Comedy Club is maybe 3 or 4 in New York. So I thought, okay, well, it's not going to be this level. It'll be, a little bit below. I go in, same fucking shit.
Yeah.
Same level. Everyone's like, bop. Sunday night, New York. Sunday night, 10:30 p.m.
Yep.
200 people sold out show.
Shit.
Sunday night. I'm talking to the other comics. Yeah, bro, this is my 6th one tonight.
What?
Holy
I got another
shit.
one afterwards, and then I'm going home at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Shit.
See, that's where the difference is.
I did my best 10 minutes at Gotham. Went good. My absolute best 10 minutes that I could ever possibly think of. And a little bit of like, I'm an Aussie in New York kind of banter.
Yeah.
And did good. I thought to myself, I could come back next week with my second best 10 and survive.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I'm fucked. I got no business here.
Really?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. The level there is just that.
So you needed to dig really deep to make sure that you were at that level.
Yeah. I am obsessed with it now. And I said to Zoe, my fiance, when I was over there, who's never been to New York, I said, we're moving here. And she's already looked up salaries and real estate and the whole lot. And we're like, it's the next thing after the wedding.
Fantastic.
If you want to play,
See, this is it.
Look.
This is the moment.
Well,
if you want to play Champions League, you got to play Champions League. And if you're not good enough to play Champions League, the only way you can know is by trying.
you got to test yourself.
100%. So we're going to go, we're going to try, and we'll see. But it's going to be an extremely expensive and difficult enterprise, but fuck, why not?
I did hear, a bit of a side note here, I did hear you on another podcast and you have some relatives in New York.
You've been on other podcasts?
I'm so sorry.
You fucking whore.
That's okay.
So sorry.
It was Sushi Mango. They're one of us.
Oh, it's them.
Sushi
Oh, that's
Mango.
right.
Yeah, well,
They're one of us. They're one of us. Mate, I hear you got some mobster family members in New York.
Oh, way to spoil the
segue.
There's no building the tension.
No,
Nick is just like,
Just going
here's
in
the
dry.
point of the story. Let's go.
Go in dry, no sale.
I do have some. Look,
All related to your grandfather. So tell us about your great grandfather. What happened there?
I'm actually not. We're not 100% sure what happened, but my great grandfather in Sicily was killed by the mafia. We don't know why. We don't know what happened. It's just what happened. And
I
then
think
my
you called it whacked.
Yeah, well, but that's what they don't call that in Sicily. They don't actually say anything in Sicily. No one knows anything. No one says anything. But yeah, they took care of him. And then my nonno dropped out of school at 10 years old to become the man of the house. He had a few sisters. He had one brother who died when he was a teenager, and he had a few sisters. 2 of the sisters moved to New York, and they married 2 brothers from the same village. So we've got 2 sets of cousins in New York. Yep. They've got the same surname, but it's not our surname because 2 sisters married 2 brothers.
Can you say the surname or?
I think I shouldn't because I'm going to be a little bit careful about this story.
Yeah,
because I'm really close with one group of the family. The ones that are not wise guys. Yeah, I love them. They're awesome. I stayed with them when I was there this time, and they're wonderful. Thank you.
Yamas.
Yamas.
Jeez.
Yamas.
I think we should have another shot before
To getting whacked.
To getting whacked, yeah.
So they moved to New York. They lived in Queens, and one of the guys was pretty. He was in, and my nonno moved to Sydney first, and didn't really like Australia. Moved back to Sicily with my dad and his sister. Their little brother wasn't born at the time. They moved back to Sicily. Nothing going on there. So then they moved to New York as well to be with the sisters, and that was supposed to be the thing. They ended up moving back to Sydney. The devil they knew, because of a combination of it being really tense Italo-African American relations in Queens. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie. Is it Mean Streets with Chaz Palminteri and Robert De Niro? It's all about that. I think it's Mean Streets. It's all about the African American, Italian American street war in the 80s in Brooklyn and Queens. So that was going on. Yeah. And that's why my nonno can't watch the French national team play anymore, because he's just got ingrained black people racism in his head. Wow. Watches the French national team. He's like, no one French player. No, nobody French. Yeah. No, please. Yeah. We're at the RSL club, please. So it's a combination of that, and because he had proper issues with his brother-in-law who was, in it. He was in this thing of ours.
So we're saying he's actually in the
Yeah. And I think that guy's still alive. I think he's the only one that's still alive, that guy. He was in.
Can you tell us which one of the 5 families he was from?
I can't tell you anything.
Okay.
I can't tell you anything.
Unless you want to get whacked.
There was the story that I told on Sushi Mango, I'll go through it quickly here, is that so his son-in-law was also connected. He was like an enforcer. He was like Paulie in The Sopranos. He was just a thug. Yeah. And
so one of your sisters, husbands,
my dad's first cousin's husband.
Okay, your dad's first cousin's husband. Got it.
He didn't live with the wife. He lived with his guma, which is the girlfriend. Yep. So he arrived late to our dinner, but then we went to dinner at his restaurant, and he was like, whatever. He was like, Anthony, more wine? And I'm like terrified. So I'm like, yeah, more wine. And then a hand would appear and just pour the wine.
And apparently you drank too much wine.
I was fucked.
And you said something you shouldn't have said.
I don't know what I said, but we are no longer on talking terms with those people.
Okay.
So I've seen The Sopranos 5 times all the way through. I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Is that legit?
You reckon he's in the movie?
Talking terms?
I don't think... Look, you guys know me well enough now that you know that I sometimes say stupid things at the wrong
You're a comedian.
Time. I wasn't then. This was 3 months before I started comedy.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I wasn't anything. I don't know if it was me that said something, but it might have been.
Okay.
It might have been.
But now that you've come out as a comedian, people can relate. Yeah, she's only being funny.
I got a better story that I learnt this time.
Okay.
That I didn't say on Sushi Mango because it was before that.
Exclusive.
But it's
first cousin? Your dad's first cousin?
This is my dad's
or your
first cousin.
second cousin?
This is my dad's first cousin. Who I stayed with. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to say names because,
no names,
again, we're very close to these people and they're very cool. Yeah. Love them.
We want to do another episode too. So.
The suburb's called Brighton Le Sands. Forget about it. It's Brighton Le Sands.
Who the fuck
Brighton Le Sands? It's a couple of fucking Greeks. So my dad's cousin said to me the whole he said it, every time I say this guy said to me, Anthony, I could have been 3 things in my life. If I didn't open a business, I could have been a drug dealer or I could have been a wise guy. That's it. Thank God I opened a business. God forbid. Yeah. That's what he says every time. Yeah. He's a screw loose hair trigger guy. Like he is gonna bash anybody at any time. He's like streets of Queens, grew up like tough shit and grew up tough shit. Yep. Case in point, his son, who's a few years younger than me, had his wedding a few years ago. Now his kids are not that at all. His oldest daughter was a lawyer, worked for the prosecutor's office. She's got 3 kids now. She's married to a guy called Dave Miller, who's I love Dave. I had to say his name because Dave told me this time when I was there. He said he gets stopped every time at airports. Yeah. Because they see his name and it's so generic that they think it's fake.
It's fake.
Oh, wow.
He gets stopped every time. So they're the total polar opposite of what my uncle cousin grew up in. Like
it's not Ian Miller.
Yes, it's exactly. And so the son at his wedding, he was telling me, we had one of my dad's old friends at the wedding who just got out of jail 25 years for murder.
Okay.
And we just met this guy who's at the wedding, and we're just talking to this guy like, yeah. And then at one point he made a joke to my friend where my friend was like, oh, I'm getting a bit too drunk. And the guy was like, haha, don't kill anyone. And my uncle pops in at this point in the story, and then the guy was like, Dad, like, how are you fucking friends with this guy? Like, why is he invited? Whatever. And he was like, yeah, you know, I used to hang out with these kind of people back in the day, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I was actually better friends with the guy he murdered, but, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What a story.
Yeah.
It's the real thing. Unbelievable.
It's the real thing.
Wow.
They're not gonna hear this. They're gonna see Ouzo Talk Greek. I'm not listening to Greek. When's he on the Italian podcast? So they're not gonna listen to this. But that's very, very like true thing. That was like New York is just. I wanted to tell you guys specifically, like since we've. I can't remember. I think Tom was telling me that like we come on and talk about New York specifically because I got to tell you guys about the New York Greek diaspora. It's really cool. It's really, really cool. You guys been to New York?
Yes.
Never.
You haven't been?
No.
Really?
46 countries around the world.
And you haven't been
Been
there?
to the States, never New York.
So I was there in 2015.
Okay.
And I've got family in the US in
You
Pittsburgh. Do? So
I'm gonna go.
What did you think of New York?
Look, the first night that we were there, so overwhelmed. I still can't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
Like I was there with my wife. That first night we were staying in Times Square, and we were walking around that night. It was probably like 9, 10 p.m., maybe a little bit later than that. And both of us had the same thought when we were out there. We sat down for dinner and we just said, kind of wish I was at home sitting on my couch watching TV.
Really?
It was just that overwhelming. That's never left me. But
So to that point, the first time I went was 2017. Like I said, 3 months before I started comedy, but I had it in my head that I was going to start comedy. Like there was already the plan.
yeah.
And obviously it being the mecca of comedy, you know, you're looking around, you're kind of like, oh, well, one day maybe, blah, blah, blah. However, I had the same thing. I was so overwhelmed. I was 24 years old. I was with my dad and my sister. We're getting walked around by all our family. It was too much.
Yeah.
I had the same thing, like TV, couch, whatever. Like this is too much for me.
Yeah.
And so going into it this time, I kind of expected to have a similar feeling. But having gone there and doing work and it going well, I felt like I was a part of the what it is.
Yeah.
Because there's no place like it. It feels like the epicenter of the universe when you're
I can imagine that if you're there for a reason and you've got, you know, something that, you know, very specific goal, it'd be very different.
It was intoxicating. It was like a drug, the city. It's never stopping. And I don't mean like, oh, you can party until the morning. Like it never, ever stops.
Yeah. The city that never sleeps.
Yeah, straight up. It's a cliche, but it's true.
It's true. Yeah.
So in the lead up to it, I had been contacted by this guy. I'll give him a shout out. It's Geffy Comedy.
Okay.
He runs a bunch of shows, Greek comedy shows across the US, and he gets people like Christina Mavronas, Gus Konstantelias.
We know Christina, by the way. Shout out to her.
Yeah, Christina's awesome. And this guy was contacting me for a number of months, like just casually, like your shit. Maybe we'll do a phone call at some point, whatever. We ended up finally having the phone call 3 weeks before I went to New York. And he was like, bro, you should have contacted me earlier. I could have gotten so many people to your show. I'll do my best now. And he ended up like doing the business. Yep. He ended up getting basically everybody that came to the show to the show. Other than my dad's cousin that I was telling you about and two of their friends, every single person that was at my show was under 35 years old.
You're kidding.
Which is not my experience anywhere else.
Yeah.
As soon as I arrived in New York, the guy who runs Geffy Comedy grabs me. He's like, we got this meeting today. We got this meeting tomorrow. We got this meeting. Bop. And I'm like, meaning for what? What are you talking about? I'm here to do a couple of shows. Yeah. The first day I sit down with this guy, young Greek guy, 40 under 40 entrepreneur, has a pocket square company. He wants me to do a reel for him promoting the pocket squares.
Yeah.
We do the pocket squares. We have lunch. He becomes a mate. We go and get cafe. Finished. Next day, go to the show. He's at the show. Bunch of all these Greek people are there. Under 35. They all love the show. They come up to me afterwards. I go to comedy 6 times a week and you're good.
Yep.
Validated. The next day, we go for lunch with, I'm not going to say her name on the podcast, but she's the CEO of Titan Foods, which is the closest. It's the Greek providor, but for America.
Right. Okay.
All the Greek shit. Sit down, have like a 3-hour conversation with her, and that night we go out with some of the other pareja. I meet this guy who's in real estate. I meet this guy who's a designer, 30 for under 30. All Greeks.
Yeah.
And something about because I was advertising, I'm moving to New York. This is happening. And they all came to the show and they saw that I was legit and they're like, fuck yeah. And as soon as they heard that I wanted to move to New York, because I'm Greek, they're like, you come here, you got this sorted, you got this sorted, you got this sorted. We'll sort you out with this. We'll sort you out with this. We'll sort you out with this. Because very few of them are actually from New York. Most of them have come from your Pittsburghs, your Wisconsins, your fucking wherever. Oh, really? And they're tethered together not by... This is why the community, the Greek community in New York was so special. And I don't mean to downplay what it is everywhere else, but a lot of the Greek communities in other countries that have diaspora, I feel, have got kind of legacy association. You know? It's the Kithos. You go to the Kitho ball. My cousins are there. This Thea her daughter's doing she's doing the debutante ball this year. It's just obligatory, that kind of stuff. And I feel like it's that way everywhere. It was that way in Canada, I felt. Nothing like that at all in New York. They don't know each other.
Yep.
All they know is you're a young Greek person who's had the hunger to move to New York, your family.
Yeah.
You're another young Greek person that has the hunger and the drive to move to New York, your family. And so the community is like, there's an energy to it that I've never, ever experienced before.
So that's like real diaspora.
Yeah.
That's real diaspora.
Straight up real diaspora, as opposed to
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. It blew me away. I don't think I would feel as confident, and I'm not very confident, but I'm hopeful that I will be able to move to New York. Yeah. But I wouldn't feel as safe about it without knowing that,
got a ready-made community there.
And it's not 100%. It wasn't lip service either. It was, they took me in. They looked after me for the week.
Yeah. No, I believe it because DJ Crazy Con said that as well.
Actually, he did say the same thing about the guys in New York.
He went in there. LA, 100%. Restaurants, pubs, whatever.
He's still recovering.
It is. That's right. They had DJs, clubs set up for him, had him in restaurants, and they virtually was like hot potato.
Here's the
you
keys
look after
to my
him
house.
Today.
Here's this, here's that.
There were 2 nights where I didn't go back to Long Island to stay with my family. There were 2 nights where I just stayed in the city. We just got this hotel room, that hotel room.
Wow.
Just
There's
too much to do.
Are they Canadian? There's a lot of Canadians in New York, like Toronto.
Not that I saw.
Okay.
Not that I saw, or not that I met.
Yeah.
There was just the Americans from around the way, and anytime. Oh, also going back to what we were saying before, because Kefi Comedy works with those people, Christina Mavronas and Gus Constantelius opened for me.
Oh, really?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, they just they did 10 minutes each before my show.
How good's that?
Before Pappou, and we became friends too.
Well, Christina's from Kerkira. I need to point out. That's our connection.
I think you have a couple of episodes now. No, that's right.
We do. Well, Christina, Are You Even Greek? And Christine.
Yeah. Well, you had Christine on this.
From Are You Even Greek? Or
no, from
no, not yet. We've been talking on.
Well,
she's keen to come on.
Yeah, I mean, she'll come to Australia, surely. So no, but what I did note in okay, this is kind of funny. Anytime people in New York gleaned that I was Australian, immediately unprompted, they would try and do an Australian accent back to me.
Okay, so was it the Crocodile Dundee thing, or what was it?
Crocodile Dundee would have been a compliment to the shit that these guys were coming out with. It was so bad, and I kind of hacked it for a few days. Of yeah, I'm Australian. That's a good try, man. That's a good try. And then at one point, there was a night that we were out, and I wasn't drinking, and I was tired. But I was kind of at the mercy of this guy that, we were going to stay in the city, and I was at the mercy of the Kefi Comedy guy, and he wanted to go out with his friends. So I'm like, I'm not going to be a wet blanket and say, I want to go home. Yeah. So I was out, but I was kind of like...
Just want to sit in the background.
I had no Kefi with a Kefi Comedy guy.
Yeah, okay.
And some dude turns up and works with one of the other guys that we were with, and they introduced me. This is Anthony from Australia.
Yeah.
And the guy immediately, same shit, starts mouthing off to me in some accent, and I'm like, and I snapped. It was 2:00 in the morning, and I said to him, bro, that is such a shit accent.
Yeah.
Turns out this guy was just Irish.
Oh.
That's just how he talked. He wasn't doing a shit accent at all. He was just having a go. He was just having a talk.
Wow.
Thankfully, he didn't really hear what I was saying or clue into.
Did he understand? Probably not.
Nah, not at all. He was
Being Irish was probably pissed.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Classy. Yeah, fantastic. Wow. So New York, eh?
It was great.
Mate, the Greek diaspora going strong.
Yeah, and it's like nothing I've ever experienced in my life. And look, I'm not going to pretend like I have a very widespread experience with Greek diasporas in different places. I didn't really get to touch the UK at all in terms of figuring that out. I did a little bit in Canada, and I feel quite a bit in New Zealand.
Yeah,
I'm really keen to go to South Africa.
Oh, yeah, you'll do well there.
Well, Peter's been there now. Cypriot Smurf's been there a few times now, and he absolutely raves about it.
Is he not a little bit South African? Why do I...
He's Italian as well. He's Italian.
He's got the whole lot, this guy.
He does.
He's got everything. Born in London, English accent, Italian, Greek.
There's another guy called, his Instagram is Costa Comedian. He was here for a little bit. He's South African. He's Greek, bald guy. I don't know if he should have hit you guys up. But,
I get the feeling South Africans are like New York Greeks.
Interesting.
They stick together. Like I went to South Africa, went to Joburg. They planned my whole trip. Long story, but I wanted to do a safari. This is when I was working at Qantas, and the people that worked at South African Airways are all Greek, all Cypriots. Rang up one girl. She said, "Yep, no, just turn up. We'll book your hire car, book this place for accommodation. This is the best place to do your safari." I thought, "Fuck, all right, I'm done." So 4 days, flew in, big sign, middle. They're all Greek. Met them all. South African Airways, airport manager, duty manager, the trainer. Oh, Yasuniko, blah, blah, blah. Cypriot Greeks.
Yasuniko.
Yeah, and they all live in communities. They all got locked up communities. They all got fucking handguns. Yeah.
Okay.
He goes, they're all got guns. He goes, they're all connected. They're all got businesses, and they all got each other's back. Is the feeling I got.
When was this?
2012 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Johannesburg is top 3 in the most dangerous cities in the world ranking as of 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Is Rio number 1?
Probably something.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Mexico City. No, not Mexico City. Guadalajara is up there. I think Medellin.
We never stayed in Joburg.
Colombia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But
My best mate growing up was from there.
oh, really?
Yeah. And he moved back. Yeah. He moved back out. He came to Australia as a refugee, believe it or not.
It's too safe.
His family. Yeah. He went back at the age of like 17, 18.
Yeah. There you go.
Within the first 2 weeks of being there was a shootout in a club that he was in.
Yeah.
He calls me up. He's like, dude, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had my kids there too. They were young. And I was,
In the Joe.
a bit nervous. I go, fuck, are you sure again, Nick? It's safe. Don't worry. Just go to this. We didn't stay in Joburg, actually. We stayed in Pilanesberg.
Okay.
Which is like 2 hours out.
Right.
Where Sun City is. So I don't know if you heard of Sun City.
I think so.
It's like an amazing complex, wave beach, all that sort of stuff. And that's where you go and do your safaris. So we're in this complex, you're virtually in the park, and you go out, you see the big 5, you do 2 safaris a day. It's actually for 40th birthday. So
I can't wait.
yeah,
Because
you'll love it.
Again, like the ability to be able to translate my work into a holiday, it's very cool, and I really want to do it. And I feel like South Africa is an easy one because there's enough Greeks there that I can just be like, hello,
100%.
and
It'll be like New York. They'll hook you up. Yep, safari,
I hope so.
do this. Do
I
that,
hope
do
so.
that.
That'd
Talk
be
to
awesome.
Cypriot Smurf. He knows a lot of people.
Yeah,
there, so.
yeah. I think I'd like to. I haven't met him.
Yeah,
I haven't
you
met Peter. No.
Okay.
Champion.
No, he's good.
Champion bloke.
Yeah, wow. Okay, well, I wanted to change tact again, as I generally do.
Please do.
There was a really interesting post about you the other day.
Oh, you wanted to wait till I had 3 drinks, huh? You wanted to. You really
This is
wanted
the strategy.
Well, I looked at Tom. I go, top him up.
to top him up.
So now we got 3 in. So look, it was an interesting post, right?
Before we talk about this, can you pour me one more? Just because I gotta get it. I gotta get ready for this.
Do you want this one or do you want the other one?
Have we had the other one yet?
We haven't had the other one
Oh,
yet.
let's do the other one.
All right, let's do the
let me
other
get
one. This
some
is
water.
the-
Should be hydrating.
The finest artisanal tikudia. This is the gold/orange
Mate, it's
bottle.
like footy cards. We've got the whole collection here. Whole collection of 35 NSYP with
Thank you, sir. All right, Nick, hit me.
So it was a post that we saw, right? Actually, I saw your apology first, I think. And then I went back and saw the original post. It was everyone's using these chat GPT now to do images, chatbot of doing images of themselves as a doll, and there was a scene of The Last Supper, which I've seen heaps of times. I didn't think anything of it.
The Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah, the Leonardo da Vinci version of The Last Supper. And then you did one and had all these famous comedians. And I thought it was funny. You know, I like comic. But people started to say, oh, that's blasphemy. And then I started reading all your comments. I thought, oh, fuck. Mate, they're going to town on you. And then you had this apology.
Yeah. So just a caveat.
Yeah.
Did you see it on Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook.
I saw it on Instagram.
Okay. That this is a crucial difference. No, you definitely saw it on Facebook.
Facebook, yeah.
This is a crucial difference that we can get into in a little bit. What's your question?
What
were you thinking?
did it let it slip your mind?
What's it?
Like, did you think it was going to cause such a ruckus when you put it up there?
Was it ill-intentioned?
Was it ill-intentioned?
Because
clearly not.
Of course,
you know what it reminded me of?
The Last Supper thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me of the Olympics.
Yeah.
They tried to do something at the Paris Olympics.
Yeah.
That was my first reaction when we were talking about it. I said, well, they did the same thing at the Paris Olympics, and that was nowhere near as like it I didn't think it was a big deal personally, but you know.
So
was this a thing that just, you know, it seemed funny at the time, and and it was just interpreted wrong?
Yeah, because you did apologise. You know, if anyone got offended, I've never seen you do that. Like I normally
did I apologize?
Oh, okay.
Did you watch the whole video?
Yeah,
the whole apology.
Oh, did I miss something? Don't tell me you're acting. Okay.
I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Well, you left it on there. Anyway, look, that's what it was. So, again, we know what you like.
I'm going to do Piers Morgan
You're not
now.
disrespectful.
Whenever he's talking about Israel.
So I'm trying to, because I actually figured that you guys would ask me about this, because it's in podcast land time. This is like 2 months ago, but in real time, this is last week. So I've been trying to think about what angle I'm going to take with you guys, because I have a different representation of what happened to different people. But I think I should be honest, because
Give us both versions.
I'm just going to give you the main version.
Okay.
I thought and still think that the Last Supper thing that I did is fucking hilarious. Mm-hmm. The idea that it's blasphemy is a complete bastardization and misunderstanding of what the word blasphemy means.
Okay, good.
Blasphemy is taking the Lord's name in vain. I did not do that.
Okay.
What I did was do an artistic recreation of a painting that was done by somebody that was not involved in religion whatsoever. Leonardo da Vinci was not a priest, he was not a bishop, he was not a cardinal, he was not anything. Mm-hmm. Hundreds of years after the purported Last Supper actually happened. Yep. And I'm not the first person to do this. It's been done by Monty Python, it's been done by Family Guy, it's been done by South Park, et cetera, et cetera. I thought it would be funny, and I thought not only was the recreation of it funny, I thought the premise of it, like with all the other WOG comics coming to my Last Supper, would be funny, because I don't know if you remember the caption, but the caption was, it was cheeky. It was like, my show Pappou was so good that all these people that hate each other are going to stop hating each other.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny as well.
Yeah, it is funny.
I put it up on the day of the Last Supper. I put it up very aptly on the night before Good Friday.
I actually saw it in church. Church, literally.
On the projector screen.
He sent it to me, and I was sitting inside the church, and I'm like, what the fuck's he talking about?
So in the afternoon, I'm trying to get Facebook up. I don't work on Facebook that much, but I'm trying to push it harder, because it's good for the oldies. The oldies buy tickets off Facebook, so I'm trying to build it up a little bit. So I'm sharing a bit more and focusing on Facebook, but I'm mostly on Instagram. And I got a couple of comments on Instagram, you need to take this down.
Actually, that's interesting. So was it you got more negative feedback on Facebook and Instagram?
By a factor of maybe 400.
Wow.
And that's how it always is.
That doesn't surprise me.
The
says a lot.
vocal minor. Well, the other thing is that I have 42,000 followers on Instagram. I've only got like 11 on Facebook. So I've got a bigger dick on Instagram. You know, they don't want to like.
But out of that 11,000, there's a lot of noise compared to the 42.
But they don't follow me. These people don't follow me. These people, my stuff just comes up on their thing, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I had 2 people in particular comment on the Instagram with big essays about why I needed to take it down, And it was just 2 people. And then in those comments, the 2 people who I did a bit of investigation, it was their wives. Their wives came in and said, "You tell them, honey," and that was pretty much it. And I just thought, this is great. When I get negative feedback, it's always great because it's engagement.
Yeah.
It will push like the algorithm senses that my posts are getting more engagement. So more people see it, which is more of an opportunity for people that actually get what I'm doing to discover me. So it's good. But then my mum sent me a text.
That's right.
My mum sent me just the most unhinged fucking like, how could you do this? And that kind of pissed me off because, you know.
So it's a generation thing.
Well, yes and no.
Do you think it's...
I don't think it is a generation thing for a reason that I'll tell you in a moment.
Okay.
And so I'm sitting there and I'm telling my fiance about it. And my fiance is like, you should do a fake apology video.
Fuck, you got me.
And she showed me a bunch of YouTube, like there's a person called Trisha Paytas. I've never heard of her. This is my fiance is a YouTube aficionado, and the fake apology video is it's a thing.
It's an art form.
Well, you could say so because these people sit on the floor. So that's why I sat on the floor. You sit on the floor and they do a completely like the bit never lands. It's just totally sincere the whole time. They're on the verge of tears. And you just do a real apology with little nuggets sprinkled in there to just signal to certain people that are discerning enough. Yeah, this is a fuck around.
Okay.
And so she's like, I'm going to direct it, and we're gonna figure it out. And I'm like, I need to be really emotional.
Yeah.
So I had 3 marijuana gummies. Yeah. I had 3 marijuana gummies and waited an hour. Yeah. So my eyes were a bit bloodshot. Yeah. And then I sat and we did it. And you'll notice through the video, there's cuts.
Yep.
The cuts were me laughing.
Oh, right. Okay.
The other thing, so the only indication throughout the apology video that you might be able to spot, I think this guy's fucking around here, is that 3 times I mentioned throughout it, I say, you know, my special's coming out on the 1st of May 2025 on YouTube and I want to...
Actually, I did notice that.
I said it 3 times.
Yeah.
It's an ad.
Actually, I did notice that.
I've never received more comments more quickly on anything I've ever put on social media than this video.
Wow.
Levedimo, I'm so proud of you. God has forgiven you. This, and this.
Wow.
You've repented. No worries.
Yeah.
Which kind of made me feel a bit weird because, like I said to you guys, I don't like being inauthentic. Yeah. I really don't.
Yeah.
It fucked me up for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like receiving praise for something that was false. Yeah. But then,
because you had me confused,
I had a lot of people confused.
And then
which is why, Nick, I'm telling you, it's not a generational thing because 5 minutes after I posted it, I get an essay from my dad, who's my mum's generation, the same age.
Yeah.
My dad was like, why the fuck did you apologize? Never let any of these fucking idiots tear you down. What the fuck are you talking about? I was like, dude, it's fake. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
My 2 best friends messaged me like, are you all right? My cousin messaged me like, you're a fucking dickhead. He was the only one that knew that I was fucking around.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt a little bit part of me was like, do people not know me well enough to read between the lines that they're like, no, he wouldn't do something this serious. But then on the other hand, I'm like, I got to go for more acting jobs.
Yeah. That was brilliant. I didn't know what to think. That's why I sent it to Tiger. Tom, look at this.
So I'm not going to, a part of me wants to do the Dr. Evil reveal and be like, You all believed me.
Yeah.
But given the special comes out in 2 days, I would like all of those religious lunatics on the internet to watch the special. So we're going to leave it for now.
Yeah.
And then what I think I might do is progressively release more and more trivial, similar apology videos, but I just apologize for stupider and stupider shit until everybody figures it out. Like,
can you start releasing the outtakes from that video?
I put it on my close friend's story. I'm sorry, guys.
It'll have to come out.
I put the outtakes on of me just laughing. I'll show you guys when we get off this.
Maybe give it a year. You got to post that.
Yeah,
that'll be classic comedy gold.
Maybe. So yeah, look.
Okay.
I feel, and the thing is, if we want to break it down properly, because I imagine I've upset a lot of people that are listening to this podcast now after doing hopefully a decent job of getting them to like me beforehand. But the thing that I want to point out is this: nothing about, and I sense that Tom feels less strongly than you do about this. Like, were you offended by it? Are you religious?
No.
Like I said before, I think what I did with the Last Supper thing, it was definitely red hot, but it's also like, it's not blasphemous. I'm not making fun of God. No. I'm not making fun of religious people. I'm simply doing my own take on a piece of art. Yeah. I think the ultimate point is, and I think this is how I want to qualify this, because some people were offended by it, and many people were not. Many people understood what I was doing, and many people see other videos that I do talking about religious aspects that think that they're offensive. Case in point, there's one that I do about the Greek Orthodox Church where I say it's a bit scary because you walk in and they're singing the theme song from Halo, and then I tell a story about my half Zimbabwean, half Greek cousins that go into Greek church. And a few of the others are like,
Yeah.
And that's all the bit is about. Yeah. It's about my cousin's very real lived experience going into Greek church.
Yeah.
And I get told that this is blasphemy.
Yeah.
That me talking about this is blasphemy and I'm making fun of God, and you do not make fun of God. Now that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
That is absolute fucking bullshit.
Scene. And we've done it with Easter, women getting their hair on fire, all that sort of stuff.
All it is, and I got some of the most hateful, horrible comments over that weekend that I've ever experienced. And it's not easy to deal with. But I realize that the reality is that these people are not well. People that are leaving these horrible comments on the internet are not well. Yeah. Because you look, like, tangibly what they're doing is you're commenting. I'm a public page. Yeah. I'm a page that's getting a lot of views. Yeah. And you're writing something heinous on this public post of a person that you don't know, and then your profile is totally public and vulnerable to the world, and your display picture is your 3 young children. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? You see something you don't like on the internet, move on.
Swipe. Yeah.
Go and watch the footy.
Yeah.
But it's not about God, and it's not about religion. It's purely about tribalism.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as me going online and saying Virgil van Dijk is shit, and anybody that supports Liverpool is going to come to me and say, what the fuck is wrong with you? Now, you guys are well-adjusted, clever members of society. You know Virgil van Dijk is not shit, and you're happy in your knowledge that Virgil van Dijk is not shit. If this idiot comedian that I don't know thinks Virgil van Dijk is shit, whatever.
Yeah.
But I said Virgil van Dijk is shit to the people whose entire identities are predicated on Liverpool Football Club, and they don't have the security within themselves to be able to handle that. And that's why they're saying to me, you're blasphemous, take this down.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. I'm as entitled to say Virgil van Dijk is shit as I am to use AI to generate a photo of me at the Last Supper.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say.
I like the way you identified what is blasphemy. So technically it isn't.
It's not. Of course not. You can say it's
So how much of it do you think is people following? So one person says it, everyone just jumps on board. People don't really think about it.
No,
that's the feeling I got.
I don't think it is, and I'll tell you why. Because the other big one. This is the one that I'm going to apologize for first.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen this one, but I do the Yaya catchphrase. The Yaya, it's the Yaya. The old Greek lady catchphrase is.
Yeah.
And, the more dangerous the situation the Yaya finds herself in, the higher the decibels of the catchphrase go and the more she reacts. And then I land it where she kind of faints and does her stavro. Yeah. Now, I'm not Greek Orthodox. I'm a half Catholic. So I don't know how to do my stavro. So when I did the act out in the video, I do my stavro like this. I do it like a Catholic.
Yeah.
I have had no less than 5,000 people on the internet say to me he did his stavro wrong.
Yeah.
Just so you know, that's not how the Greek Orthodox cross is done.
Yeah.
If it was a pylon thing that you're talking about, Nick,
Yeah.
they might have seen that the other person wrote that and they might think, okay, he knows. But nah, they got to write it again and again and again. No one's looking at what anyone else is writing.
Well, they look at the first one. Bang, I'm going to repeat that. Maybe you're right.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
You know what? I couldn't tell you. Do you know why? Because I don't leave comments on the internet.
Yeah.
I got my life to live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm busy and I don't have kids. So I know you guys aren't doing that either.
Yeah, no, we're too busy for
Look,
that.
look. At the end of the day, it comes back to a lot about, a lot of these people are not sort of
Well,
that too, but that too. But a lot
But
of
look, each to their own. If that's their thing, then that's fine. That's your thing. If you want to believe that, then believe it.
okay, but the
one
other
of the
thing
things
is
I've
that-
learned. Sorry, one of the things
hear
that
me,
I've
Tom.
learned with all this is that not everyone, unfortunately, is ready for comedy in some respects. They're not ready for it. There are certain people who will absolutely defend the fact that there are certain things that you don't touch, right? And most comedians would argue the opposite. They'd say there are no sacred cows in this. Everything is fair game. No matter what side of that sort of coin you fall on, I feel like it's just an individual thing.
for sure. And everybody is welcome to not buy tickets to my show if they want, if they don't like that, and that's totally fine. But I will point out one thing. There were times where in the big furor of it, in the eye of the hurricane, that I actually, because I was getting DMs from people, that I said to them, if you can explain to me intellectually exactly how what I've done is blasphemous, I'll take it down. Nobody could. You don't joke about God.
Yeah.
That's all they had to say.
That was one comment that actually came out from one person in particular. That we were sitting with Billy Kotsis after the Greek Youth Comedy Gala. I can't remember who it was in reference to. They were just like, you don't make jokes about Jesus.
Oh, Billy said that?
No, it was someone else.
But this is why you don't make
done.
jokes about Jesus, folks. He's
a
always
sign.
watching, ladies and gentlemen.
He's listening.
No, look, again, it goes back to that thing. There are certain people that are not ready for comedy. There are certain people who don't get it. Each to their own at the end of the day.
Look, we're all created differently, so we can't expect everyone to think how we think. So
You know
that's
what?
my view.
I don't get opera. But if I went to the opera and I saw somebody wearing something that I didn't like, I don't think I'd run up on stage and try and hit them with a pool cue. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
You don't feel that urge?
No, not at the opera. Cirque du Soleil, different story.
Yeah, sure. Oh, dear. Well, I think we need to...
Well, that's good. He explained it well. That was good.
Well, look, just to wrap it all up, because, great discussion.
Nobody's
for a
going to
start.
watch my special now. I came on here to plug the special.
No, they
They're going to
will.
get
That's where I
halfway
wanted to
in.
go.
They're going to get halfway in and they're going to be like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Where can people follow you? What are you doing next? Give yourself the plug.
Anthony.Locascio at anything. Watch my special on YouTube, Pappou. It's filmed at Enmore Theatre. It's very good. It will be on YouTube as of now. Whether you're Greek or you're not, or you're Aussie or you're not, I think there's something in there for everybody. So I'd like everybody to watch it. Yeah. What's coming up next? I'm getting married. In August in Malaysia.
As you said,
and then beyond that, I'm not sure. Actually, beyond
Are you
that, I will
writing a new show?
I have written a new show.
Okay.
And I'm very excited about it. I won't tell you too much about it because I will be touring it as of next year, but it's pretty much good to go.
Okay. Can you give
in
us a
November,
sneak peek of what it's called, maybe, or
Nope.
No theme?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. It is about things that I am experiencing currently. So I'll leave it at that. So there's a lot of marriage and wedding and
Beautiful.
that kind of stuff
It
in it.
writes itself.
Yes. In November, this might be completely relevant to your entire listener base, but we'll see. But in November, I am doing The Italian Youth Comedy Gala.
Really?
Coazit.
So we're flipping the script now.
Why not?
How good's that?
Why not? And what about nonno? This is what about nonno, huh? You
There you
asked.
go.
You got it. You better show up.
Ask, can you receive?
Yep. I'm a kind and benevolent Lord.
You are.
Fantastic. November. Oh, we'll have to check that out. We have to
Well,
compare.
we'll be coming to that.
We'll have to compare.
It's free.
Compare and contrast. Where's this one happening?
It's at Coazit is the Italian community of Sydney. They've got Coazit in different cities, and they have a theatre space at their offices, which is in the Forum in Leichhardt.
Oh,
There you go. Perfect spot for
The
that.
show's free. It's a free show. They sponsor and do free
We'll
events.
be there twice. No.
We will.
I think I'm going to be going to the west coast of America in October before then. But
Brilliant. Fantastic. Look, we can vouch for the Pappou show. We saw it live. Even though I've already seen it, I probably wouldn't mind watching it again and again, I think.
Well, like we said earlier, it was just so well written, so well put together. Obviously, you did a lot of work on it.
Yeah.
To us, having seen you previously and seeing you at that point, it was brilliant just to see the progression and how you had reached that level. And the fact that you have since tested the waters in the US and seen that you can actually hold your own, mate, if you move over there, you're going to be doing far more work and you're going to be making waves for sure.
Let's hope so, guys. But I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Well,
You both
right
know that I
behind
have a lot of respect and love for you both. So thank you. Thank you.
We love you too, man.
We do, mate.
We're
You've
right
done
here for you.
You've done a top job. Like I said, everyone out there, listen to it on YouTube. It's already out there because this show has been recorded before it came out.
Yeah. See if you
back
can
it
spot
up.
us in the
Yeah,
audience.
that's right.
It's on the bingo card. There's no prize for it, but
Did we give the game away here? Did the audience know that you guys record in advance and put it out later? Did we just
Yeah, they know.
We've done it
We
a few
always do
episodes.
Did we just reveal the Wizard of Oz's ass to pay no attention?
We've done it a few times. Look, the show had everything, though. Comedy, emotion. I think you went into the crowd as well. Had a kumboloi.
The Masao. Yeah. It was fucking brilliant.
That was classic.
Dear.
I think
All right.
you gave it away there. You meant to say that.
We can cut
Doesn't
that.
matter now.
I'll leave it. It's fine. What does that mean? Oh, it's an intrigue.
Exactly.
Do you want to hear? No. The next thing I'll tell you when we finish.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. Anthony, mate, we love you. You know we love you. We love working with you.
Thank you so much, guys.
All the best. All the very best. Stay in touch.
Good luck. Good luck with
Follow Anthony on social media. Watch the special. All that good stuff.
Definitely. And stay tuned for the new show. He's written a new show, but he hasn't told us yet, but we'll find out soon enough, I'm sure, through the socials.
That's it. All right. Well, ouzotalk@outlook.com is the email. Follow us on social media at Ouzo Talk and at Ouzo_talk on Instagram. Also on YouTube. Nick Athanasiou, Anthony Locascio. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Beautiful. Thank you, gents. Goodbye.
Ouzo Talk is produced, written and presented by Tom Skolarikas and Nick Athanasiou. Our theme music is written and played by Peter Apostolidis, with additional music from George Kalapidis and Bouzouki legend Thanasis Polykadriotis.
Ακολουθήστε μας στο Soundees, στο Spotify, στο Apple Podcasts και στο Google Podcasts.